What's going on YouTube? This is Sean. I am back again, and in this video we are going to be working on Captain America's cosplay foam helmet, that is. So let's just jump right into it. Here are all my patterns already laid out. I've already cut them out, and I transferred over the inner patterns just like this. And then I flipped it over and transferred more inner patterns, and these are actually undercuts. And then instead of doing V-grooves, I'm gonna use my wood burner. And here are the top pieces. I did the same thing. So yeah, before I glue everything together, I'm going to use my wood burner to do my undercuts. And the reason why I'm doing this is that it's going to melt the EVA foam and then hold everything in place. You just got to hold it together until it cools down, and there it is. Now I'm actually using a spatula tip, which is a flat tip. I don't even know what it's really called. I just call it the spatula tip because that's what it looks like. And I get more control with these than the V tip. So yeah, I'll just get it started with the edge and then just simply slide it across the EVA foam. And be careful, don't burn yourself. And this part right here is the bridge of the nose, which also fused together, and it should look like this once it's done, and just repeat it on the other side. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the top part, which is this bridge of the nose, and there's a little lip in the back that kind of bevels in. And this eyebrow piece right here, instead of doing a melt and fusing thing, I'm just going to cut a slot in there, which I will eventually fill in with hot glue, and this will give it an eyebrow muscle impression once everything is glued together. Now this would have been a good time to hot glue the or fill the eyebrow part with hot glue, but I didn't have my hot glue warmed up, so I went ahead and just attached everything together, starting with one side and joining two smaller pieces together. And then I'm gonna go in there and join the nose bridge. And the edges of both the nose bridge was cut outward angle. That way when you join them together, they bevel inward. Now for the bridge part right there, I did burn and fuse together, and the rest of the eyebrow part I cut in a hard angle. That way when I glued it together, it bevels in. So, and also on the side pieces, I did cut that whole entire edge in an inward angle, and that'll help form the I guess the crown of the helmet a little bit better. And now that I got both of the pieces glued together, it's time to marry both of the pieces together. And I'm going to use the surface of my table to make sure everything is nice and smooth. Now here's a little tip. Just apply some wax on the surface of your table, and you won't need to use wax paper like I used to. Just make sure that the wax is completely dried and cleaned off before you go and lay down glue parts on it, because you don't want the wax to transfer over to your glued material. Now that I got all of it put together, it's time to put on these air side bands. Yeah. I'm using 6mm foam for most of the helmet build, but as far as the straps on the sides go, I used 4mm EVA foam just so I can get a staggered look. And so far the helmet is looking pretty groovy. The straps do look like they need to be adjusted a little bit because they do hang out a little bit too low. So I'm going to go ahead and use some thinner to detach the glued area, and then adjust it where I need it to, and then mark it, cut it, and then re-glue it, and it should fit ED's twin brother. And if you notice, ED's twin brother hasn't been out in the sun lately because he's looking kind of pale. Now I'm adding glue to the side of the head where the wings will go on, and also apply some glue right here where the A for America will go. And then yeah, once the contact cement is dry to attack, I'm gonna go ahead and glue the side straps together and then put the accents on there. Now as for the accent, I went ahead and cut them out on this EVA foam, which already has adhesive on there, And you can pick this up from TNT Cosplay Supply. It's so much easier than applying glue to these little small pieces. You just peel it, or draw your patterns, cut it, and then peel it. That way you don't have to apply glue on it, because you know how difficult it can be to apply glue to these small little pieces, and doing this is so much easier. So yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff, then check out TNT Cosplay Supply for these adhesive EVA foam. I went ahead and cut a little strip of that EVA foam, and I'm going to glue it to the nose. This will help it keep its shape a little bit better. You just want to make sure you glue it with it bent more than the shape that you want it to, and it should flex out just a little bit. And here is some elastic with some Velcro sewn on, and then I'm going to glue it to the side strap. I'm going to use hot glue, high temp, and it should hold it in place. And then I'm going to clamp it down until the hot glue cools down and harden up. And here's the chin piece. I must have forgotten to record myself gluing that piece together, but it's real simple. You just join it at the point-to-point marker that I put on the template. And I did cut some slots into it so that way the elastic can slip through it. And then I'm putting some Velcro on the other side strap, so that way it should connect to each other just like that. Alrighty tidy, now is time to apply some paint. I'm using some HexFlex that I got from TNT Cosplay Supply. It's a flexible water-based paint, but you can use it as a top coat, a sealer, or a primer, all three. So you know what? I'm just going to skip the Mod Podge and the Plasti Dip that I normally use, and I'm just going to use 3 coats of this thing and see how that works. Now I went with the clear stuff so that way I can always mix different pigment to it, and I'm going to use this blue acrylic paint from Walmart. I'm gonna start off by putting a small amount of blue in there and then mixing it in just to see what it looks like. Now I could have added more blue, but this is gonna be the first coat anyway, so yeah, so technically this would be the sealing coat. Normally if you just use acrylic paint right over EVA foam, it's just gonna soak right in and you're gonna get a dull finish and it doesn't look as good. Now since this stuff actually seals and paint at the same time, it should come out looking really decent. And spoiler alert, it came out looking really good, and the paint was really flexible too. It was a little translucent, but that was okay because I did achieve the color that I was aiming for, which was a dark blue. And this is what the first coat looks like. I even went and hit the wings. I'm gonna go back and paint that white, and then I'm gonna hit it with the hair dryer to accelerate the drying process. And you notice how it just kind of dried away, but after the second and third coat, the color started to pop. And yeah, I really like this product because now when the winter time, or even when it's really hot like right now, I don't want to be out in the shop. So yeah, I can do all this stuff inside because it's non-toxic. I don't smell it. It doesn't taste that bad either, but don't try tasting it. Then I mixed some brown to this water-based paint, and is a little more opaque. It wasn't as translucent as the blue was, but then I don't think I added that much more brown than I did when I did the blue, so I don't know. It did work though. And that's after 2 coats. And as for the top part of the helmet, that was 3 coats of blue, and for the wings I did 2 coats of white. And yes, it's looking really legit, and I do recommend this product. I almost forgot to go back and fill the undercut where the forehead is with some hot glue. I'm using low temp hot glue so that way it cool down quicker, and you notice it gave it a little more detail right there on the forehead, the eyebrow area. So yeah, this probably would have been easier if I had filled it in with hot glue while it was still flat, but hey, you know what, it worked. I mean, it looks good. Yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. And if you're really into this kind of stuff, I mean, if you're really into it, then check the links in the description down below. I'll have links for this HexFlex paint and the template and stuff. So yeah. So I guess that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and make sure you hit that like button if you got something out of this. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and follow me on my social network and stuff. I'll be adding more pictures on my Instagram of my upcoming builds. So yeah, check it out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.